When it comes to trafficking drugs into the United States, authorities are calling San Diego the, quote, fentanyl epicenter. In response, they're educating the public about the deaths the drug leaves in its wake and warning criminals they will be prosecuted.
According to the Department of Justice, border officials seized more deadly fentanyl in San Diego than any of the other 300-plus ports of entry.
A decade ago, we didn't even know about fentanyl, and now it's so pervasive that in June of this year, San Diego County declared fentanyl a public health emergency. The Southern District of California, which is home to 6 international border crossings, has become the epicenter for fentanyl trafficking in the United States.
Between October last year and June this year, border officials seized over 5,000 pounds of fentanyl in San Diego and Imperial counties. That's 60% of the 8,400 pounds seized across the entire country.
The U.S. Attorney's Office and our law enforcement partners are fully committed to reversing this death spiral and shutting down the fentanyl distribution pipeline into our nation. That means prosecuting criminals responsible for this crisis. Our fentanyl-related prosecutions are up overall by 1,600% since 2017. And we'll continue to make these cases a top enforcement priority.
Recently, these criminal organizations are manufacturing larger quantities. In a 6-day period from July 13th to 18th, Border Patrol seized over 600 pounds of fentanyl in Campo and Calexico.
We have found packages of narcotics in roofs, floorboards, door panels, bumpers, tires, gas tanks, car batteries, seats, speaker boxes, you name it.
The drug is also smuggled in by hiding it on or inside a person's body. According to the San Diego County Medical Examiner's Office, fentanyl-related overdose deaths have increased over 2,000% in San Diego County, from 33 in 2016 to at least 800 in 2021.
Fentanyl is an extremely dangerous narcotic that kills indiscriminately. It's not the type of drug you experiment with, and it's only a matter of time before drug users consume a fatal dose. This deadly drug does not discriminate, nor do the criminal organizations who smuggle this dangerous drug across our borders. These organizations have no regard for the lives taken and the violence created by their illegal enterprise. HSI is committed to preventing this dangerous drug from entering our communities, destroying lives, and devastating families.
The FBI's mission is to protect the American people, and we'll apply the full force of the FBI to investigate and stop fentanyl trafficking. We're dedicated to eliminating this threat and will devote all necessary resources and personnel to ensure justice is served and our communities are safe.
China is one of the largest exporters of fentanyl. It's then pressed into pills, made into powder, or mixed into other drugs at industrial-scale labs. Mexican cartels then distribute them to the U.S.
A bill to punish social media for intentionally adding addictive features to their platforms died in legislation on Thursday. The bipartisan bill was known as the Social Media Platform Duty to Children Act. It attempted to hold social media companies responsible for getting kids under the age of 18 addicted to their platforms. Legal guardians would have the authority to sue social media companies for damages up to $250,000. Most legislators either voted in support of the bill or declined to vote. Votes did not follow party lines. In November, Los Angeles County will be putting a measure on the ballots to tax cannabis businesses. It's expected to generate millions of dollars in revenue. Los Angeles County will ask voters in November whether or not they support a cannabis business tax in unincorporated areas. Such grow operations are not yet permitted. On Tuesday, the board voted unanimously to place a proposed tax measure on the upcoming November ballot. One supervisor, Catherine Barger, represents an area with a large amount of unincorporated land. Her district is also a hotspot for illegal marijuana operations. She said, quote, "Our board must be clear, we will not tolerate illegal cannabis operations." According to county staff, the levies would initially generate an estimated $10.4 million yearly. Tax rates would be set and in effect for 4 years, after which additional increases are likely. Funds would be redistributed throughout the county districts. A recalled member of the San Francisco School Board announced she'll be running again to regain her position. Former school board president Gabriela Lopez made the announcement on Friday. She was assigned as president in 2019 and made some of the board's more controversial decisions to date. Those included delaying students returning to in-person learning during pandemic lockdowns and instead trying to rename many San Francisco schools. Lopez also made numerous tweets critical of Asian Americans. She was recalled in a landslide in February. Drought-stricken California is coming up with new ways to get drinkable water. The governor announced a strategy to recycle and conserve.
Governor Gavin Newsom announced on Thursday a new water supply strategy to increase water supply and adapt to hotter and drier weather conditions. It would invest in new sources to, quote, capture, recycle, desalt, and conserve more water.
In the last few years, Ray referenced this, the hydrology in the state has begun to change pretty significantly. The aridification that we're experiencing leads us now, the science and the data leads us to now understand that we will lose 10% of our water supply by 2040. If all things are equal, we will lose an additional 10% of our supply by 2040.
According to the proposal, the goal is to invest $27 billion into drinking water for over 8.4 million households by 2040. Strategies include creating storage space for up to 4 million acre-feet of water, recycling and reusing at least 800,000 acre-feet of water per year by 2030, freeing up 500,000 acre-feet of water through conservation, and capturing stormwater and desalinating ocean water and salty water in groundwater basins.
We have 37 desal projects in this state, not projects, 37 desal plants operating in the state of California. 14 traditional desalinization plants that pull seawater and 23 programs like this that pull brackish water.
This is part of the Newsom administration's water resilience portfolio released in 2020. In May, the California Coastal Commission rejected plans for a $1.4 billion plant that would turn seawater into drinking water in Orange County's Huntington Beach. While environmentalists have criticized the project, supporters and Governor Newsom say it's a necessary tool to counter drought. The plant would have produced 50 million gallons of drinking water per day, enough for 16% of the homes in the Orange County Water District.
After nearly 2 years since NBA legend Kobe Bryant's fatal helicopter crash, his widow finally has her day in a California court. She had to excuse herself from the federal courthouse on Thursday after a witness testified about how he came to see photos of the crash.
Vanessa Bryant filed an invasion of privacy lawsuit last year against the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office and the fire department for their alleged mishandling of crime scene photos. She claims that officials were sharing and circulating photos of her late husband's remains. Bryant's attorney, Louis Lee, told jurors that the photos shot at the crime scene were used for visual gossip and for a laugh. He said, quote, "They were shared repeatedly with people who had absolutely no reason to receive them." Lee listed several occasions where officials were seen sharing the photos. He also played a surveillance video of an off-duty sheriff's deputy drinking at a bar and showing the photos to the bartender. However, County Attorney J. Mira Hoshmill told jurors that the bartender was a longtime friend of the deputy. She said the deputy was emotionally struggling from the horrific accident and stated that, in a moment of weakness, he showed those photos and he has regretted it every day of his life. Additionally, Lee says the county neglected to conduct a thorough investigation to make sure all photos were accounted for and removed from the phones. He stressed that the photos could someday resurface online and be seen by the surviving family members. Hoshmill countered that the photos have not been seen in 2 years and that both department leaders were diligent and did their jobs. She expressed sincere sorrow for the victims of the crash. However, she reminded jurors that this case is only about the photos and not about the loss of life. The trial is still ongoing.
People in Los Angeles are used to sunny, hot weather and are often strangers to rain. But now, for a brief moment, they can pretend they're in Seattle, which is famous for its rainfall.
A rain booth is set up in Venice Beach on Wednesday to give Californians a taste of the rainy Washington state climate.
It's a beautiful, sunny, hot day in Venice Beach, and we've brought a little refreshing Seattle rain to this hot afternoon. So we're inviting everyone and anyone to come into the Seattle Rain booth to cool off, to feel refreshed, and feel a little of the Seattle romance and what the rain brings.
Visitors sang, danced, kissed, frolicked in the rain, and had their photo taken with the Seattle skyline in the background.
Pretty cool on a day that's about 90 on the beach that we never have, so it's pretty nice. I appreciate it. It makes me miss Seattle.
It was very nice because it's very hot out today, so it was nice to feel that rain. You know, it was good.
It definitely felt a little bit weird having lots of people stare. So I had like a photographer take a picture, but seeing lots of people watching us is kind of weird.
It was.
While some used the booth as an Instagram opportunity, there were others who had an emotional response to the rain.
There was a little baby that was just like putting its little paws in the rain, and you could tell it probably hadn't seen the rain in a while. A gentleman said he hasn't seen the rain in 6 months, and he put his head in it, and it was just like, that's what the world needs, joy.
Participants got free photos of their rainy experience. The booth is making its way to other hot locations in the United States. Its next stop is the Arizona desert.